We just went over all things the rating tactics, and the only thing left to do before we go into the Infinity Cradle is take a look at all the budget options. So let's do that today. Stand up! Vanguard! Raging Tactics introduced us to brand new playstyle, mechanics and upgrades. Because the clans in this set don't have a widespread card pool like the previous clans, it's a lot harder to build a unique budget option. However, when we are a bit creative, we can build some really cool and interesting decks. But before we begin, let me explain the rules for the budget builds if you haven't seen the previous videos. Rule number 1, no new VRs. We don't include the VRs from the current set as those tend to be quite pricey unless something strange happens. Old VRs are optional, but only if they are under $5 or when we can finish our deck under rule number 4. Rule number 2, I focus on the latest support. The idea is that you can build most of your deck from the latest support, so it's easier to make. But most of the time it's also a lot cheaper as you don't have to hunt old expensive staples. Of course, this might not always be possible as we're depending on what the set offers us. Rule number 3, the deck needs to be playable. I don't mean it should win tournaments, but it should have a realistic game plan and a somewhat consistent way of getting there, so no 8-card combo that relies on 1,000 things to go right. Rule number 4, $50. I try to aim to stay under $50 per deck. This can be a very easy task or a very hard one depending on which clan we're tackling. Prices are relative. This is the most important rule of all. Prices of cards fluctuate constantly. Also, depending where you're from, you can have a different price, and most of the time I'm going to talk about budget decks of cards that have yet to be released. Of course, it's not the case of this set and the upcoming ones, but it's great to set a pattern for the future. We're going to start off with our friendly neighborhood Dinosaurs. Tachikaze introduced us to 2 solid playstyles, each focused around one of their main VRs. But if we put both sets together, we can build a deck that flows very similar as the old Tachikaze deck, where we can combine multiple units to generate powerful attacks like Mega Rex, Savage King, Def Rex combo. However, this deck is a bit more consistent as you can keep your cards on the board and can reuse your equip gauges a bit better so you don't have to waste them for a single turn. This deck costs around $55. That's quite expensive for a budget deck, but that's because in this list we have to draw PGs which are around $10 for a playset as of writing this script. But a major culprit is Mega Rex. This card just blew up and can be anywhere from $5 a piece towards $11 a piece. So if you replace those cards with other cards, this deck could drop down towards $20. Depending on what you want to replace them. However, I recommend getting it as it is, as they are important for the list. This list doesn't have a main grade 3 as both work on Vanguard Circle as well as on Rearguard Circle, making this deck to be always live from turn 3, as you aren't depending on which Vanguard you are on. But the grade 3 which most cards depend on is Def Rex. Def Rex is one of your main combo starters and powerful beaters as it can increase its power tremendously. You have a couple of ideal retire targets that we'll highlight in a moment. Dark Rex is a multi-purpose unit that can fix our right if we have it in the drop zone, but it can also fix our board as we can target it for retire abilities and then bring it back with its regeneration ability. He can also become a very powerful beater when you accumulate a significant amount of gauges. Bomb Raptor is the combo card with Def Rex as you can activate its ability when resolving Def Rex. So this way you can potentially mitigate the loss of gauges by generating more in the process as well as making a powerful beater. Ravenous Dragon Mega Rex is the second combo card of the deck. This one is less about overall power but more to increase consistency as it gives you a draw instead of retiring an opponent's rear guard. Also, this card will generate more gauges while doing so. He is more to interact with your rearguards than just outright go for the kill. Finally, for the grade 2 lineup, we have Turbo Smilodon. This is just here to generate gauges and distribute them to the units that need them, as it's important that the correct cards have the gauges and not everyone can generate them for themselves. Polakan Spine is the backbone of this build. He allows you to keep accumulating gauges and keep reusing abilities. He is the ideal target for your Def Rex and Mega Rex, as you can get a refund of the cost and extra resources and still retain the gauges because you can give them to another unit, and after this I will showcase just how effective this card is if you use it correctly. Next we have Sonic Noah. This allows us to generate extra gauges and can be a solid way to activate retire abilities of Pollock and Spine or Laceretta Rex. Speaking of, next we have Laceretta Rex. This is just your average early game consistency tool. This combined with Sonic Noah in the early game can give you a lot of momentum if you can manage to activate their abilities. Lastly, we have Zondilofo. This grade 1 gives us a bit more control over our gauges. We can either generate more or move them to important units like Pollock and Spine. Also, being able to give a little bit of power is a warm welcome, especially in the early game. The main thing you want to do is generate a lot of gauges as your units become stronger the more you have on the field, and you want to use Counter Blast as soon as possible so you get more value out of your Pollock and Spine. The thing you want to do is combine Pollock and Spine with either Mega Rex or Def Rex. If you combine it with Mega Rex, you can refund the Counter Blast and you can move the gauges to somewhere else. You can give them to Mega Rex, but sadly because of the timing, it won't get the extra power from the gauges as he gets them after resolving his ability. But the big play is in combination with Def Rex. By having a ton of gauges on Pollock and Spine, you can give Def Rex a big boost in power, and at the same time, you refund the Soul Blast and you can retain all the gauges which you would lose without Pollock and Spine. But not only that, the ideal target to move the gauges to is to a Bomb Raptor, because if you resolve Def Rex's ability, you also get to retire a unit from your opponent's front row, meaning Bomb Raptor's ability will go on standby. By moving all the gauges towards the Bomb Raptor, you can suddenly build an insane strong attacker for free. You can do this turn after turn as long as you have a Pollock and Spine available, as you can move the gauges back to the new Pollock and Spine with Zondilofo. By retaining the gauges on the field, your units will only become stronger and stronger the longer the game progresses, as Bomb Raptor, Mega Rex, Def Rex and Dark Rex benefit from this tactic. In the case of not having a Pollock and Spine, you can auto-target a Laceretta Rex. Also, try to save your Pollock and Spine for your Def Rexes, as they can generate more value from them than a Mega Rex can, especially when you have a Bomb Raptor on the field. Next up, we have Spike Brothers. This is an interesting one, as just like Tachikaze, we focus on the old build. Remove the VR and tack in a couple of new cards to give the deck a more clear focus. And this time we focus on shoving as much Great Freeze Inner Soul to fuel Gun Wild Wolf, so we can abuse this super Battle Dory skill. This deck costs somewhere around $40, from which most of the cost comes from Powerback Ronaldo, being it's a brand new hot topic for Spike Brothers. Also, once again, we have the draw PGs included, as a play set is around $12, so quite affordable. The main Great Freeze in this list are Gun Wild Wolf himself. He is your finisher in this list, and you want to use his ability to close games, and with the support of all the other cards, you can use his ability quite consistently and even more than once a single game. The second in command is Juggernaut Maximum. He is a terrific beater, as his ability allows to help filling the soul with a Great Freeze. If you manage to get a copy from something like a Gyro Slinger or a Powerback Ronaldo, then you're solid for the game. The final Great Free linebacker is Sigiswald. This is another Great Free that allows you to fill the soul with extra Great Frees, but his ability gives you a bit more versatility. You can shove more Great Frees into your deck, get more resources for your counterblasting units, and even put back triggers if you want to have more triggers pressure. For the Grade 2 lineup, we have Powerback Ronaldo. He gives us more early game aggro, as he can give us more Great Frees onto the board for Genesis, and even his cost can be used to advance our game plan, as we can shove extra copies of Great Freeze from our hand into the soul. Brocky and Black Panther are both just pressure tools, just to give our opponent damage as fast as we want, to put them at a deadly 4 to 5 damage to make Gun Wild work. In the Grade 1 spots, we have Gyro Slinger. This is effectively a Grade 1 version of Powerback Ronaldo. It allows us to shove excess Great Freeze from our hand into the soul and potentially fill the board with even more Great Freeze to advance the game state into a more favorable position. Next up, we have Big Blow Tat. This has somewhat the same functionality as Siggy in the fact that it can shove Great Freeze back into the deck after we use them for Gun Wild Wolf. Also, the extra power helps us to capitalize off of Gun Wild's ability, as we can rip our opponent's hands to shreds. The last card we have is Jackknife Genesis. This unit allows us to shove Great Freeze from the rear guard into the soul. In case of Maximum and Sigiswald, this looks unnecessary, but their abilities are slow as it takes a turn, so they're vulnerable against control or pure aggression. So this card gives us a guaranteed extra Great Free into the soul. But this can also help us activate Gun Wild Wolf Wolf a turn earlier, as we can shove in the last grade 3 and then attack with Gunwad Wolf full power. How this deck operates in the early game is quite similar to other Spike Brother decks, as you want to lay down the hammer as early as possible and slam in with high beaters like Brocky and Maximum to really bring the pain, and you can cheese these units out with cards like Gyro Slinger and Powerback Ronaldo. But that is where the similarity ends, as what we want to do besides that is fill our soul with grade 3s and go into a Gunwad Wolf. To do this, we can do a couple of things. We can pay the cost of Gyro Slinger and Powerback Ronaldo with grade 3s. We can abuse the skills of Sigurdswald and Juggernaut Maximum to get more than 1 grade 3 in the soul per turn. And fourth, use Janus to accelerate this even more. Then once you can use Gunwad's ability, you want to use his skill to the most effective use. Combine it with Force 2 so you can put your opponent at a deadly position early on, or go for Force 1 if you want to circumvent interceptors. You can also use your rears to preemptively slam into their rearguards. After a single resolution, you can use Sigurdswald and Big Blow Tat to send the grade 3s back to the deck to increase the chance of filling your soul with more. You can use new Gyro Slingers and Powerback Ronaldos to refill the field. Another great thing about Gunwad Wolf is that you get more value out of your Gyro Slingers and Powerback Ronaldos, as the moment you only see triggers, you can still call them, as you'll send them back to the deck anyways with Gunwad Wolf for a better guard restriction ability. Finally, we have the last clan of the set, Mega Colony. With the new support wave, we get some extra low rarity machining cards, making it possible to play a different playstyle than the mill strategy of gunning Kodio. Notice that I didn't say budget. That's because sadly a lot of the clan's powers comes from imported machining pieces like Machining Mantis, Hornet, and even the new old promo Stealth Millipede, making this deck not meeting the $50 requirement. However, with the inclusion of these cards means if you want to upgrade to other builds or even keep up with the clan for future support, you don't have to invest all that much more. All the prices of these cards are still lower than most tables of Shadow Paladin cards, so it's somewhat budget depending if you're coming from something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic. This deck costs around $85, but keep in mind, almost half of the value is in Machining Mantis, as they are around $10 a pop, and the rest is in the Hornets, Millipedes, and the Herculeses. For the grade 3 lineup, we have Machining Ornamental. This card can be used as a stall option as well as an aggressive option, as we can empower a field or block our opponent's field, or even both in the late game. This combos well with all the other grade 3s and even with Flat Ray. Next we have Stag Beetle. This allows us to reuse all of our cards that were ridden that game or shoved into the soul. This way we can reuse Machining Ornamental, Mantis, Hornet, and even Stealth Millipede. It also works well with Butterfly Officer, as it can shove grade 3s back into the soul to reuse again with other Stag Beetles. Lastly, we have Spark Hercules. This is the strong power card that can be used late game once we start going for the kill, as this together with an ornamental and a flat ray can bring some powerful attacks and can suddenly overwhelm your opponent with resources when they've been running thin. For grade 2s, we have Machining Mantis. This is a staple for Mega Colony decks that run a lot of grade 3s and also where the main strategy revolves around set grade 3s. Then follow up, we have Bloody Hercules. This card gives us on-demand countercharge for Flat Ray, Hercules, and Mantis. Thanks to the fact that it works by ramming into rearguards, thus it allows us to stall for longer while our opponent is denied a good offense. Lastly, for the grade 2s, we have Flat Ray. This is our main attacker for the deck that can become a good threat for our opponent. It works perfectly with Ornamental, as that card gives our opponent units even more power, so this way Flat Ray becomes even more threatening. In the grade 1 lineup, we have Machining Hornet. This card gives us another option to fetch our grade 3s as fast as possible. Stealth Millipede is the perfect stall tool that anybody can use, and the fact that it can even be used as a resource engine gives us even more room to play with. And lastly, we have Butterfly Officer. This gives us even more countercharge options, but more importantly, it allows us to shove cards into the soul. This can help us fuel Ornamental Soul Blast ability or get us reuse targets for Machining Stag Beetle. The main tactic of this deck is to stall and prolong the game as long as you can and whittle down their resources slowly. In the early game, use Hornet and Mantis to fetch your grade 3s as soon as possible, as those are your effective stall cards. Also, to benefit from all the counter charges, use Flat Ray as a solid beater to slowly remove their cards from hand. Use Ornamental to limit the amount of units they can stand if they call a full board, and or lower their attack power with Spark Hercules. you can shut down entire columns with Millipede, and in the case they let the attack hit, you can use Stag Beetle. Stag Beetle is your main secret weapon, as this gives you so much options. You can recall a use Ornamental, Hornet, Mantis, and even Millipede. So even if they let the attack through for a Millipede, you can just recall it next turn if you have a Stag Beetle in hand. This way you can keep generating resources and keep the board locked down. If you think the resources are low, you can combine Ornamental, Spark Hercules, and Flat Ray to deal the final blow, as you can rest everything with Ornamental and give all rearguards plus 5k, then potentially shove a unit into your soul to give Hercules more power, then use Flat Ray's ability. By doing it in this order, you give Flat Ray an additional 10k thanks to Ornamental's ability, and finally finish off by using Spark Hercules Counterblast 2 ability to send all your units, give them another 5k, and minus 5k your opponent's board. Your side columns will have an increase of 20k, Flat Ray and your Vanguard have a significant X amount of power increase, all the while their Vanguard has minus 5k power, and if for some chance they survive, all of their units are at minus 5k, and you could Soul Blast a Machining to prevent most of their units even from standing when you resolved Machining Ornamental's ability. And that was the last budget deck for the Raging Tactics. We had some interesting options in this set. Two of the three clans take inspiration from the previous VR build and take a unique approach to the tactic. And for Mega Connolly, we see them going back to the roots and really go for the stall playstyle with the new machining cards. If you're hungry for more and you want the fully meta build options, then check out one of our deck spotlights that are live on the channel right now. It's time to explore the jungle of Kraid, as you never know what you might find. Giant bugs, real-life dinosaurs, and the occasional lost NFL player. But that's to expect from the Raging Tactics. And those were the budget options for the Raging Tactics. And with that, also the last video concerning the Raging Tactics, as we're gonna jump right into the Infinity Deity Cradle set right after this video. But before that, let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of all the budget options that we presented in this video. And do you maybe have your own kind of take on a certain clan with all the cards that we got in this particular set? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, then why not slap a like onto the video and subscribe to the channel to be notified when we upload more Cardfight Vanguard content, as we bring them daily to your sub box. As always, I want to thank my Patreon supporters for making this video and everything happening on the channel possible. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel a bit more directly, you can head over to patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a Patreon today. But with that said, I'm Mr. Time Leap, and I see you guys in the next one.